What drove Vincent to check himself into the asylum? What made his neighbors think that he was mad and petition for his removal from their community? Though there were many contributing factors, the most ubiquitous episode came several weeks before his eviction from the Yellow House. He and his flatmate, the Impressionist painter Paul Gauguin, had a falling out. And Vincent took a blade to his ear and he cut off the lobe, and he wrapped it in paper and he took it to a local prostitute named Rachel, who seemed to have been his friend in his community of folks who lived on the fringes. And when he handed her that blood-soaked parcel, he said, "Take it, it will be useful." Well, word of this outburst spread quickly throughout the village, and then the next morning, the police found Vincent asleep in his bed covered in blood. And they took him to the hospital, and during his stay, Vincent began to count the cost of what he had lost. He'd lost his roommate, his friend, the fellow artist, Paul Gauguin. He felt responsible for this. His body was now permanently maimed. His neighbors all knew the story about his ear. And to add insult to injury, at the time Vincent cut off his ear, his star was just beginning to rise in the art world. After years of obscurity, he was on the verge of breaking through. And so his public spectacle with his bloody ear, which led to his eviction and detention in the asylum, brought with it a mountain of humiliating professional and public shame on top of everything else. So what did Vincent do while he was recovering in that hospital stay? Well, he painted. He painted close to 140 paintings that year, and at least 2 of those works were self-portraits with his bandaged ear showing. He captured the moment of his greatest shame. It's hard to render an honest self-portrait if we want to conceal what is unattractive and hide what is broken. We want to appear beautiful, but when we do this, we hide what needs redemption. And we hide what we trust Christ to redeem. And what's redeemed is beautiful. And beauty matters. Philosophers have long wrestled with the question, what makes humanity so distinct from all other forms of life? There are 3 properties of being, or what they call transcendentals, that have risen to the surface. They are the human desire for goodness, the human desire for truth, and the human desire for beauty. Christian theologians have regarded these 3 transcendentals as basic human desires that are essential for knowing God. Why? Because these are 3 properties that define God's nature. Honesty and falsehood point to the existence of absolute truth. Good and evil point to the reality of undefiled holiness. Beauty and the grotesque whisper to our souls that there is such a thing as glory. And so truth and goodness and beauty were established for us by the God who is defined by all 3. The pursuit of goodness and the pursuit of truth and the pursuit of beauty are, in fact, foundational to the health of any community. And this isn't just a philosophical position, it's a biblical one. We see it in the opening chapters of the book of Genesis, in the very beginning of the Bible. What are the first things we learn about humanity from Scripture? Well, first, in Genesis 1, we learn about goodness. We learn that when God created us, he pronounced his creation very good. Goodness has been a foundational part of our intended design since the beginning. The second thing we see is that just as we were created with inherent goodness, and we're also called to functional goodness, we were made to live according to the truth. We were meant to obey God. In other words, we were created to live according to God's truth, which is absolute truth, with a clear divide between what is evil and what is good. Consider the importance of truth. What precipitated the fall of man? Deception. Scripture says the serpent deceived the woman and the man, and they in turn lied to God and to themselves. And that rejection of the truth has brought immeasurable sorrow upon our species, and we have been longing to reclaim some sense of what is true and good ever since. In the confines of our created world, this is a uniquely human phenomenon. We are the only creatures who are consciously concerned with goodness and truth. We're the only ones. The third thing that we see has to do with beauty.